I think the overall challenge is that many business owners don't know what good financial management actually looks like.
Yep.
So if you, and there was that, I don't know if this is a fable or a true story, but there's this whole thing that comes out there of this teacher that was trying to get her students to write like A+ essays. So she wanted the kids in the class to be able to write an A+ essay, but everyone was writing like a C grade essay. Like we're talking about grading here. Now, she tried to teach everyone skills, right? To, I could teach them about writing paragraphs like this, or I could, show them how to write an open like this, or make an argument like this. And she would have them do another test, and like they were getting better, but not massively better. And then one day she said, what if they just don't know what an A+ essay looks like? What if I take them through what it looks like so they've got something to compare to? Would that help? And she did it, and then sure enough, everyone in the class was able to start writing at a level. And the whole ideation behind that is like, if you don't know what the result looks like, then what chance have you ever actually got of achieving it? And finance and financial management, I would say, is that is the exact analogy that describes how I'll say 90% plus of business owners actually go about managing their finances, managing financial management of their business, probably investing as well in the same category.
Yeah, that analogy is applicable to so many things. Like you've also got networking, sales, etc., that sits on top of it. But I'm going to riff off that essay point, because there's, like Warren Buffett said, like accounting is the language of business, right? Because if you don't understand that language, how can you communicate to your bookkeeper? How can you communicate to your accountant? How can you communicate all of these things that are necessary in operating your business? Unless you just, and to your point, most people are just going down to the paragraph structure in an essay, as opposed to going, well, this is actually based on what you're trying to write about. This is where you go for. And I'd also argue that this is the foundation of a successful business, right? Like if you understand finances and you actually know how to manage them appropriately, that is exactly how you're going to be successful. It's no different to marketing with like defining a target market. If you know how to, or if you know who you're going to be marketing towards, then every other tactic just makes sense along the way.
Yeah, so let's go there. Right, when you start a business, like pretend you're startup mode again, right? Learning financial management isn't what keeps the lights on. It's I got to make money today. I got to make something and sell it. So marketing and sales end up the first skills people really lean into out of survival. It's like, oh, great, I learned how to financially manage this company. Unfortunately, I'm bankrupt.
But I managed it well.
Yeah, I knew exactly when and how I went bankrupt. I was great at that. I managed it very well. I'll go through like there's a sub layer to this though, is like obviously when we talk about financial management, right, the people that are the most useful for us here are the bookkeepers and accountants. But the challenge is the way they've been educated makes them like almost, again, it's because it's another language and using this analogy, they don't know how to communicate to the average business owner. So what you end up with, and I'll use a different example here, is like if you've ever spoken to anyone that's like deep in like IT, right, and you go and talk to them and you say, oh, look, what's wrong with my computer? And they give you this reel of things. It's the RAM and, it's not working with this and the Corsair and the hard drive and they get really technical that the average person hears it and goes, just want my computer to work.
Just want to be able to use Word.
Correct. So just layer these ones up is that business owners don't know what a good result looks like. The people that have the answers speak too complexly and at a level of technicality that makes it undigestible, right? That you end up with a lot of business owners that financial management and the survival aspect of just like this isn't the thing that actually brings in money. Put all that together and that's how we ended up here.
So is it the point where you can, there's a quote that says the ultimate complexity is simplicity, right? So is there a way where business owners don't need to understand these things, or do you think it's just like a staging where it's like, well, you can understand it very simply here based on where your business is at and how it is progressing? Or is there something that just like everybody just needs to know, needs to start learning and needs to start understanding?
That's a great question. I'm going to do the worst thing as a podcaster and ask you a question into your question.
Oh, no.
I'm going to do it. Do you actually think what you do to financially manage today is complex?
No, not anymore.
How would if I said like out of 10, 1 being the simplest thing you do and 10 being the most complex thing you do, where does it sit for you?
I would actually probably put it like a 4. I think the only complex part of it now is just making sure I have the time and look at the right figures. Like I can read it all, I can understand it all, but just making sure that I do it.
Okay. I'll ask you another one on the same scale. Your health, Grant. Like, when it comes to your health, how complex is it actually managing your health?
A lot more complex than managing my finances. I'd probably put it like a 7.
Right, so managing your health is harder than managing your finances in this scale for you. I would say that for me, and this is just my own rankings, I would say I'm about for managing my finances, it's probably like a 3 to a 4, somewhere in that range. Managing my health is about the same. And
really?
Yeah, I just don't see it as that complex or hard. Is there a learning curve to both of them? Absolutely. Like if you care about your health, like you might want to learn about macros or training styles or like, I don't know, other stuff, health, sleep, right? Nutrition. Like there's a learning curve that comes with it, but the actual manage of it when you know these things, super easy.
Yeah, I think that's the difference. See, I feel like I'm still on that education curve when it comes to like health. Where with finances,
I will also mention you take your health way more seriously than I do.
I definitely do. And like I get like, I'm like, I got to do this. But and that's a really good point because it does start. Have you ever seen the flow chart, the state of flow, where it's a chart with an X and Y axis, and it's like the challenge over the time. So we all have, depending on what task we're doing, if it is too challenging and we're just starting it, we have anxiety. And then if it's too easy and we're doing it for a long period of time, we become bored. And in the middle, there is this, what they call the state of flow, where you've done it enough that you don't have anxiety, but it's challenging enough where it's not boredom. And I think that's kind of where, when you're saying like a 3 or a 4 out of 10, that is where sort of finance management and health management sits, because it's like, cool, I'm just going to keep refining, keep iterating, but I'm just in this nice state of flow of going, cool, I can look at these things and I can understand exactly what I'm looking for and how I'm going to approach it. I'm not worried about it, but I'm not bored doing it.
I would say there's some truth in that from my point of view as well. I would also say like experience counts. Like I've been doing this a long time now. Like I don't know exactly, I'll have to look into it, but I say I'm into my 10 years. I'd have to be up to my 10 years by now. So, and again, very fortunately, as I took financial management and financial education very seriously early on in the journey, so that I have now got many, many reps in. But if you've never got those reps in, you might be a complete beginner in this area. Correct. Just like I would be a complete beginner if I had to start repairing laptops.
Hey, fellow business owner, if this topic and value-packed short video has resonated with you at all, and you want to dive deeper into being a full stack business owner, check out the full episode by clicking the link on your screen or in the description right now.